The line at the small neighborhood ATM was short that morning, but the cold wind cut through Andrew Miller's jacket like needles. He pulled his little daughter's pink mittens tighter around her tiny hands. Sarah was still half asleep, her head resting against his waist as she stood beside him. Andrew gently brushed a strand of hair from her face, praying she wouldn't feel how his hand trembled. He hadn't eaten since yesterday. He wasn't sure she had eaten enough either, and the balance he was about to check would decide whether she would get breakfast or not. Andrew wasn't a man who complained. Life had already beaten him down more than enough, losing his wife Emily during childbirth, losing his job when the factory shut down, working nights as a gas station janitor while raising Sarah alone. But the one thing he never let go of was dignity. He always smiled at his daughter. He always kept hope alive. But that morning, it was breaking. As he stepped closer to the front of the ATM line, a deep voice behind him chuckled. "You've been standing there forever, buddy. Checking $1 billion account or what?" Andrew turned. The man behind him was tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a navy coat with enough pins to sparkle in the winter sun. His posture screamed authority, his eyes sharp, observant. His name tag read Commander Jonathan Pierce, Fleet Command. People around instantly stiffened. Some saluted, some whispered, but Andrew just nodded politely. "Just checking my balance, sir." The commander laughed lightly again. Not cruelly, just casually, like a man who assumed everyone lived comfortable lives. "Well, hope it's good news," he said. "I remember my first years in the Navy. My account always cried whenever I checked it." Andrew forced a smile, saying nothing. He didn't want pity. He didn't want to explain his life. He just wanted to know whether he had enough for breakfast and maybe a loaf of bread for the week. The ATM freed up. Andrew stepped forward. He lifted Sarah on his hip to keep her warm as he pressed the buttons. Balance inquiry, savings, processing. The cold wind suddenly felt heavier as the number appeared on the screen. Andrew froze. His breath left his body. He blinked once, twice. The number didn't change. Behind him, Commander Pierce laughed again. "What's wrong? Can't believe how low it is. Happens to the best of." Andrew stepped aside. The commander caught a clear view of the screen, and the smile vanished from his face. His eyebrows shot upward, his posture straightened, the casual mockery in his voice evaporated. "Sir, the commander swallowed. "That's not possible." But it was. On the screen, highlighted in green, was a balance Andrew had never seen in his entire life. $487,073. Andrew stared, stunned. His heart raced. He shook his head like it was a glitch, but then he saw the deposit history. A single entry from 3 a.m. Deposit from U.S. Department of Navy, $487,000. The commander stepped forward, his voice suddenly different, gentle, respectful. "Mr. Miller, may I ask your first name?" "Andrew," he whispered, his throat tight. "Andrew." Pierce exhaled, almost in disbelief. Do you know what this is?" Andrew shook his head. "No." The commander pulled out his phone, his expression tightening in concentration. He scrolled, then froze. "There was a sealed case filed last night," Pierce murmured. "A Navy emergency payout, for the family of a civilian who risked his life protecting 2 naval cadets during a gas station incident 3 months ago." Andrew's eyes widened. He remembered that night, the robbery at the station, the gun, the 2 young cadets in danger, the split-second decision to shield them. He had gotten injured and fired afterward for missing a shift. He never told anyone what actually happened. He never expected anything from it. But someone, somewhere, filed a report. The commander looked at Andrew with astonishment and something close to admiration. "You saved 2 of our cadets, Andrew. You shielded them with your own body. His voice cracked for a second. "We failed to recognize it sooner." Andrew stood silently, overwhelmed. Sarah tugged his sleeve. "Daddy, can we get breakfast now?" His eyes filled instantly. "Yes," he whispered, kissing her forehead. "We can get anything you want." Commander Pierce cleared his throat. "Andrew, I'd like to give you something else." Andrew shook his head quickly. "Sir, this is already too much. I can't." Pierce lifted a hand. "This isn't charity, it's justice." He reached into his coat and handed Andrew a card. A Navy Fleet level clearance card. Come to the base this afternoon. We owe you something more important than money, a job. A permanent position, full benefits, housing support for you and your daughter. You've earned it more than anyone I've met. Andrew covered his mouth, unable to breathe. I don't know what to say. Say you'll show up, Pierce replied softly. Heroes don't stay in the shadows. Andrew nodded, tears streaming. The commander saluted him, not mockingly, not playfully, but the way one salutes a man of honor. People around the ATM paused in awe. Andrew Miller, a single dad who couldn't afford breakfast minutes ago, now stood tall with hope reborn. He walked away holding Sarah close, whispering to her, "We're going to be okay now, sweetheart." Mommy would be proud, and for the first time in years, the icy wind didn't feel cold anymore. Sometimes life breaks you so completely that hope feels impossible. But unseen seeds of kindness, one brave act, one silent sacrifice, can bloom into miracles you never expected. And heroes, even the quiet ones, are always found in the end.